Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Paige. I am a 27-year-old stay-at-home wife and mother of two. I post videos about lifestyle, motherhood, recipes, weight loss, all that kind of stuff. Please consider subscribing if you are new because I'm so close to 100 subscribers and I would love to get to that point. You will be seeing my daughter here, baby. It is very hard for me to film during the day, so I do usually have a child up, so that if you do hear something, that is my child. Like I said, it's very hard to film when they're awake. But today, I am filming 10 baby names that I love that obviously we won't be using because we have our two babies and we're stopping at 2. And then I'm also going to do kind of a background history on both of my girls' names and why we named their names, and we'll go from there. So we're just going to jump right into the video. So first off, my daughter Scarlett Rose is my oldest, and we could not agree on a name, my husband and I. We kind of were going back and forth and he was vetoing everything. He wasn't really helping me with names, and I was like telling my friend about my frustrations of not being able to come up with a name. We just had nothing picked out. I am really good at coming up with boy names, but girl names was just something I just don't have a lot of girl names picked out, and most of my girl names that I like are boy names. So basically I was talking to her and she said, well, my husband and I are disagreeing on the name Scarlett. I love it, but he doesn't. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love that name. And I was like, do you think you're going to use it? And she's like, no, probably not. And I was like, do you think I could tell, be careful. Ow. You okay? Yeah. I was like, do you think I could take that to Devin and see if he likes it? She's like, yeah, go ahead. So I took it to Devin and he loved the name, so we had finally come up with the name, and that was Scarlett Rose. Number 2. Charlie's name was also very difficult for us to come up with. We had so many names picked out for her, and I was just so set on having a boy that, again, I didn't have a girl name picked out. And then when we found out that Charlie was a girl, it was just so hard for us. We had a bunch of names picked out, but they just didn't stick. After a while, I just didn't really like them. So we really wanted to honor Devin's grandpa, and ended up honoring both his grandparents, but my main goal is I wanted to honor his grandpa and my grandpa. We were unable to do that with my grandpa because his name is very manly and there's just no name to really kind of play off of that. But his grandpa, Devin's grandpa, we were able to use his nickname, which is actually for both Devin's grandma and grandpa. We got to name Charlie after both of his grandparents, and that's Charlie. Devin's grandpa always calls grandma Charlie, and same thing. There's a little bit of a story there, but it's for a different day. I mean, it's not very important, but the reason is they call each other Charlie. You'll always hear grandpa say, come on Charlie, let's go, or things like that. So we were able to name our baby after Devin's grandpa in some way, and we are very happy with it. And then for her middle name, we still wanted to kind of honor some family members, so we decided to do Marie Lynn. Devin has 2 middle names, so that was also kind of cool to us to kind of copy that Devin has 2 middle names. So, and Marie is his mom's middle name, and then Lynn is my mom's middle name, so we were able to honor our mothers in naming Charlie. And it was just super important to me, especially to just honor some family members in naming our second child. I have no idea why. I just felt the pull to do that, and those are our girls' names and the meaning behind it. So now the 10 names that I love that I obviously will never use. I have them all written down on a list because I'll get way too ahead of myself. So number 1 is Rosalie. Rosalie was my number 1 choice for Scarlett when we were thinking of names, but Devin vetoed it right away. I don't really know why he didn't like it, but he didn't, and he ended up compromising with Scarlett's middle name, Rose. And I will say I love Scarlett's full name because people call her Scarlett Rose, that's her name. They don't call her Scarlett, they'll call her Scarlett Rose, or they'll even call her Rosie. So I'm really glad that we got to incorporate Rosalie some kind of way into her name because I really loved that name, and he vetoed it and I couldn't use it, so he was nice enough to compromise in a middle name. Number 2 is Sawyer. I love this name so much, and this was the number 1 choice for Charlie. The only reason why we did not use Sawyer is I'm not actually 100% sure if Devin approved of that name, but also I had heard that name from my brother. He and his wife had a baby about a month after us, and it was a girl, but they actually liked the name Sawyer for a boy, and they are still having one more kid, so I didn't feel right taking that name in case they do have a boy and want to name their baby Sawyer, because that was the name Kyle, my brother, had told me about. So I kind of felt weird naming one of my children after it if they were potentially going to use it. I mean, it's not even a for sure, but I just felt bad about it, so I didn't use it. But I love that name. Number 3 is Hazel. I love old-fashioned names for girls or boy names for girls. Those are the two kinds of names that I gravitate to, and I just loved Hazel. I think I said that name for both our kids, and my husband vetoed it for both, but I just love the name. There's no really reason or rhyme to it. I just really like the name Hazel. Number 4, I will probably never, or obviously never, but I would never name my child this, even if I had more kids. I just really like the name, but I would probably never use it at all, and that's Fiona. I just think it's such a cool, hip name and really cute, but I don't think I would ever have used that. But I really do like the name. I have no reason why, I just really like it. I think it's cool, and yeah, Fiona. Number 5 is Charlotte. So a lot of you guys are probably like, well, you have a daughter named Charlie, why didn't you just name her Charlotte? Well, that's because I have Scarlett. So it'd be really weird if I named my kid Scarlett and Charlotte, and it would just be so confusing, and I would get their names mixed up, and I already do get their names mixed up, so it would just be so confusing to have Scarlett and Charlotte. But the reason why I like Charlotte is because I actually like the nickname Charlie, so it just kind of worked out that my baby's name is Charlie. And I also like the nickname Chuck for a girl. I think it's just really cool. But yeah, I really liked the name Charlotte and kind of used it in a way with Charlie. Number 6, and the first boy name, is Wyatt. Wyatt was 100% the name we were going to use if we had a boy when we had Charlie. I love the name Wyatt, and I mostly love it because my husband actually came up with the name. It was one of the few names that he actually spit out and was his decision, and I just loved it. It's actually after a wrestler we watched WWE, and I just really loved the name. I actually really like this name for a girl too, and I begged Devin to let me use it for a girl name, but he didn't like it for a girl name. Because I just really love the name and I wanted to use it in some way, but he didn't like it, so we didn't get a Wyatt at all. But that is my all-time favorite boy name that we had picked out. Number 7, and the second boy name is Dimitri. So I have 0 Russian ancestry, just none. I don't think I do, at least. If I do, it's like 0.0001. Like, I don't have any Russian ancestry that I know of. But when I was younger, Anastasia, the movie, and still to this day, was my favorite movie of life. I loved Dimitri in that. I always had like a crush on him as a cartoon character. He's a good-looking cartoon character, but I loved the name so much. And then also in high school, I used to be obsessed with vampire books, which I'm sure a lot of girls my age were obsessed with vampire books. And in Vampire Academy, Dimitri, I'm sorry about the noise, Dimitri was the main character I was obsessed with in that book, and so I just really love that name. But like I said, 0 Russian ancestry, so I don't think if I had a boy, multiple boys, I would never use that name, but I just really like the name. Number 3, and probably was in a good contention for a boy name for me, was Declan. We are Irish, well, at least on Devin's side of the family, we have an Irish last name, McDivitt, so Declan would have really worked because it is an Irish name. I really love that name, but yeah, we will never use it, but I really do love that name. Number 4 is Oliver. I am obsessed with this name. mostly because I love the nickname Ollie. I don't think Ollie is a good name that you can use on its own because it's a cutesy name, but then like when you get older, I feel like Ollie is not a very good name for an older person. So I like that Oliver, you can call him Ollie when he's a baby, but then Oliver when he gets older, a more appropriate name for an adult. But I love that name. And then the last name, number 10, is Liam. I loved this name for a very long time. It was our #1 choice when we had Scarlett for a boy, and then it just got really popular, so it kind of went to the wayside, but I still always will love this name. And yeah, number 10 is Liam. But there you go. There are my 10 baby names I love that I'll never use. And yeah, I just really like them, and yeah, that's basically it. If you like these kind of videos, please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Please, please, please. I'd love to have you, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.